I actually forgot to get me some water, so I'm gonna go grab that while the ads play. Whoops, silly me. No, I forgot to grab my water bottle for the stream. And I just went to grab it since the ads have to play. Yeah, I just did it done, that's all. So yeah, Stojima-san's home. I believe last time we rescued... Yeah, we rescued Chie from her own stupidity. And we now have mostly free reign of the game. There are a few things we still need to unlock. But we can actually set our own schedule now. We're officially out of the prologue.
I wonder how Chia's doing. Too much stuff happened yesterday. I hope she's back to her usual self.
Oh, morning.
You alright, Chie?
Yep. Thanks for everything yesterday. It's kinda embarrassing, you know? You two were right there to see my hidden feelings and all.
Don't sweat it.
The same thing happened to Yosuke, right? So, what was it like?
Yeah, you're never gonna be told, Chie.
How should I put this? Oh, I nearly forgot. None of that happened when yours awakened, huh?
Also, masterful deflection there.
Could that be because you've got nothing to hide?
Oh, so nothing happened for you?
Well,
I gotta agree that you seem like a pretty open guy. There's a funny air about you.
I don't know I'd say nothing,
I
but...
don't know. I guess that's what draws people to you, or something like that.
I didn't have a creepy doppelganger run out, no. Yeah, pretty much! So I didn't like any of the answers there.
Yep, it's a compliment.
At least the first one seems joking.
If you say so.
Anyways, what's most important right now is to rescue Yukiko. I'm dead set on coming. Remember, you promised.
Oh crap, I still haven't gone to the bathroom.
Hey,
That one I don't mind so much because it's just an excuse to get you along with Chie.
Thanks for saving me. Yosuke's cool and all, but there really is something different about you. I feel like you won't let me down.
Yeah, like, I don't really mind like little cut-ins like that one. It was just the prolonged, unnecessary version that I didn't really like. So we have Chie as the chariot, and after the disaster of last time, I'm not going to try to look up the Arcana versions. Like, if someone in the chat wants to look up what the reversed is and how they start and things like that, they are more than welcome to, but I actually looked around and I couldn't find any kind of steady thing that matched. The wiki might have it, actually. I didn't think to check the Shadow's individual pages on the wiki. It's up to interpretation, but cards usually have some. Whoa, what? Okay. Cards usually have a set amount of things that they can be. Like the tower always represents a disaster, for instance. I mean, not necessarily a disaster, but...
What? Oh, right. You'll need this from now on, huh? Oh, okay then. Feel free to call whenever.
I'm pretty sure you actually have to have high enough courage to do that.
We have to be careful of the fog that sets in after the rain, right? Let's save her before that happens.
Yeah, here's what I mentioned in the first one is that you have until the fog sets in to rescue the person. If you don't, I'll recap it. As I said last week, you will hear police sirens because the person is dead, and Igor will offer to roll back your time a week, which will erase everything you did in that week, but give you another chance to go after it. I kind of like that because game overing is not go back to your final save where you might be in an unwinnable situation. It's just Igor will offer to reset a little bit. Which I prefer games that do that, to be honest, that give you a way to go back a bit in case you locked yourself in an unwinnable situation. That is one reason that I tend to do the dungeons ASAP before I do anything else. I always clear the dungeons once they're available so that I just don't have to worry about it. Also, I actually did take a vote off screen, and when it comes up, 2 of the choices have been chosen by votes, so... Ah, Kondo Sensei. I'm a native English speaker, and even I don't know what you're talking about. Did you? I thought you voted. Part of a group. This is the odd one out, so it's gotta be this one. A and An are the same thing. They're just modified versions depending on whether the word starts with a vowel or not. So process of elimination said it had to be V. Oh, that's the way he was saying it. I get it. I didn't quite understand it the way he phrased it. And our knowledge goes up. I still need to check what stats we still need to raise to finish this off, but since it's only one section, we shouldn't really have much issue raising that. I don't know of anything that requires you to be rank 5 in a specific stat to do it that we're going to do. I'm sure they exist, but also this is the same thing you'll get every time while someone's in the dungeon. When we rescue the person, it'll just say, person is resting, or something like that. Alright, we have a couple of things to do. Yeah, basically. So let's go ahead and equip Chie. Now that we have 3 party members, we can push a little further in. This is the third star. here it is. I walked past it. Go ahead. Also, here's what I meant when I said that it was intuitive. When you sell the monster drops you get money, but it also inspires him to make new weapons and new armor. There's literally nothing to do with the materials besides selling them. And yeah, sometimes one item can get you multiple things depending on how many you give. Honestly, we're not really going to be hurting for equipment. She's already got chainmail, yeah. Because what really eats your money in this game is the compendium, which like I said before, I'm not going to be using that unless I, absolutely need it. Respect HP by 10, strength by 10, magic by 1. Interesting. I'll go ahead and use that for Chie. That accessory is going to get stripped from her because I'm just going to be flat out honest. I don't use Chie. I don't really like Chie as mechanically. Like, there's nothing wrong with her, she just doesn't really fit my personal playstyle. So Chie is going to get replaced as soon as we get our 5th party member. So when you want to go to the TV, you can come here. Confirm the situation basically gives you a summary of what's happened so far in this chapter of the plot. It's for if you've not played for a while and you come back. Like if we check it here, they'll talk about the murder. They'll talk about the fact that Yukiko got thrown in. Things like that. It's just basically a very brief summary of what's happened so you know roughly where you are in the plot. Also, no, you will never get a direct date for things. Also, you check the weather report. It will just flat out tell you this. So essentially, you basically just have to watch for, I believe it is 3 consecutive days of rain. And the 4th consecutive day, they will die. You just kind of have to guess at it. But the amount of rain consecutively is generally a very big tip off. You are starting to enter your thing. So go back to town lets you go back to the town selection screen, easy enough. Go back home lets you go back home, but there's a catch. If you go into your house after leaving it for any reason, it will automatically progress the day to evening. You only ever want to do that if you have literally nothing you need to do in the afternoon or after school. Because, I mean, like, it skips an entire time bracket, so unless you have absolutely nothing you can possibly manage, you don't want to do that. Oh, does it? Okay. I guess before, I've never actually let the deadline come around, so I didn't know that. Aw, Teddy. Oh, does it? I guess I just never pay much attention to it. I will admit, it's actually been quite a while since I've, played this. Also, yeah, I just habit save every chance I get. So I want to show off Persona Fusion. I talked about this in the last stream, but if we go to Igor, he will let us fuse different persona. This is just him telling about it. I'll explain. I can explain shorter than he is. So we have fused personas, which has Igor fused personas for us. Check compendium lets us look at the compendium, which is our registered persona. And I will actually show you. I will go ahead and show you. This is why I will not be using the compendium. I have a ton of persona registered to it. I have over half the persona in the game registered to the compendium. As you can see, a lot of them are high level, and I actually could pull them out now if I wanted. As I said before, Soji would not be able to sustain them, but I could do it. And register persona just registers what you're holding into the compendium, and it will overwrite what's already there. So for fusion, we have a couple things. Normal spread lets us fuse 2. Triangle lets us fuse 3. The fusion forecast actually tells us certain things that will happen if we fuse. Certain fusion forecasts can be like, if you fuse this today, then this skill will change into a different skill. If you fuse this arcana today, it will get bonus experience points, stuff like that. Yeah. I could literally pull out Loki, who's like level 74, and carry him around with me. Like I said, though, it would not really be the best of ideas because Soji would tap out on his SP and health like mad. It would mostly just be for the defenses, so there's not really a good reason to pull out high-level persona yet. So you see the fusion forecast for the current day and the next day. So the current day, nothing. There's no conditions. All personas we fuse will get bonus stats. Tomorrow, if we use a persona of the Magician Arcana in fusion, the Zeo skill will be added. Which is actually quite nice. So let's see, what we have right now is just Izanagi and Pixie. And then we can fuse that into Apsaris. So here you can check what you're fusing together and what you're trying to make. The skills in red are skills inherited from the fusion fodder. The catch for this is that how many skills it inherits depends on how many skills the personas being fused had, and what it inherits is completely random. Persona 5 and Golden did this way better because it let you pick what they could inherit from the list of possible inherited skills, but in this one you basically just have to constantly back out and redo it, back out and redo it, back out and redo it until you get what you want. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. There are some skills that can't be inherited down. As Pi mentioned, she was able to pass down Die For Me from Alice, which I've actually never seen before. But, certain skills have a certain percentage chance to pass down, which means, you could be there for a while if you're trying to pass a specific amount of skills. Also, to get to the dungeon, you talk to a specific person, in the main area, and they will take you to the dungeon. Who takes you to the dungeon is, Persona 4 Golden does allow it. I remember doing that on Golden. Though I could be wrong. But, basically, with the dungeons, if the dungeon is active, Teddy will take you to the dungeon. If you have finished the dungeon, you talk to who you rescued to go to the dungeon. If it was a party member dungeon. If it's not a party member dungeon, then, you talk to your current navigator to, go there. Also, the Go-Ho M lets us, leave the dungeon immediately. You want to do the Go-Ho M because if you walk back out of the dungeon, your floor is not saved. But if you Go-Ho M out of the dungeon, the floor you were on is saved. Yes, that's what I was talking about, choosing inheritance skills. I will say that things like weaknesses, resistances, those are unique to the persona. You can't alter those at all. Though there are skills they can learn that will take up a slot, but change it. Also, yes, these dungeons are essentially roguelike dungeons. Every day they change when you go into them. The dungeons will only stay consistent day to day. If you go in another day, then the entire layout will change. The only thing that doesn't change is what is on what floor. Like, the Chie boss room will always be on floor 2, but it's empty now. But that's the only thing that stays consistent. Yep. Skills are really good for that. But like I said, in order to get the skill, you have to sacrifice a slot for it. So you can only have 7 active skills.
Two enemy shadows. You get to go first.
Also,
Okay, I'll do as you say.
I preferred changing the commands here because it's a lot faster to change them in battle.
Someone else's
Two
turn.
enemies left.
Also, Chie fights by kicking.
Woohoo! Chie-chan. That's one.
Also, for fusing personas, if there's a specific persona you want to see, I will actually pull it out of the compendium to use it once we hit the appropriate level. Because fusing specific personas is, an ordeal, let's say?
There are 2 enemies. Hang in there. Hang tight.
Also, since these things are so weak, I don't want to waste any of my SP. I'm just sticking it on Rush, which means that they just basic attack without your input. You can turn Rush on and off as you please. It's just a toggleable. There's just stairs. Here's another hallway. And I got smacked in the back.
Ah, 2 enemies ambushed you. Amazing, Sensei.
No answer.
Yes. Also, there you can see the skull for the all-out attack and how the all-out attack actually did more since we have Chie now. I do too. I actually like a lot of Chie. I like Chie pretty much all over, even though her denseness is a little irritating. I'm just not overly fond of her actual, the way she works mechanically.
I'm ambushed by 3 enemies. Don't cry. Hang tight and go for it.
Let's see. Okay, hold on real quick. I'm actually getting some weird lag here. The game is a little bit laggy, just like naturally, but this is a bit different. Alright, we'll see if that that fixes it. Yep! We have not actually seen a red shadow yet, but the size of the shadow is... Seriously, how are they hitting me from behind when they're directly in front of me? I don't remember this happening. But yeah, the size of the shadow is,
What? Good answer.
the size of the shadow is how it relates to you based on your level. So the smaller the shadow, the further below your level it is. And the color is determined by what type of shadow it is and the basic strength of that shadow. Well, I mean, like, I am hitting him with the sword, but it's not connecting. That's what's weirding me out a little bit. This game might have a bit of an odd depth mechanic, which I might have to relearn since it's been a while. Alright, we have now done a full circuit, so we can go up to the next floor. I will say that on boss floors, the boss is the only thing that is on that floor. And Teddy is giving us that little tip here. I actually don't fully agree with Teddy there. Personally, I prefer taking out the smaller shadows because they'll die faster, so you have less things hitting you. Really, there's somebody behind this door. Well, we like Teddy, so...
Yukiko?
Well, that looks familiar.
Yukiko-san, are you alright?
Guys, the dress.
Yukiko, what's wrong?
How do you miss the aura of the dress? How do you mistake that?
Oh my, special guests. I wonder how they'll play into all this. Things are really heating up. Okie dokie, I'm going back to hunt for my Prince Charming. Oh, where could he be? This place is huge. It's so exciting, but it makes it so hard to find him. Oh, maybe he's playing hide and seek in the fog. Ready or not, here I come. Let's go further in then, shall we?
Yes, that's actually there.
What the hell is this?
That does pop up, like, physically.
Yukiko? Who are you?
What are you talking about? I'm Yukiko, and Yukiko is me.
No! Don't tell me! Are you... Where's the real Yukiko?
What's with these voices?
The shadows are getting agitated.
Well, I'm off again. You better be waiting with bells on, my dear prince.
Why do you want him to be wearing bells?
Hey, wait! That clearly wasn't the real Yukiko. It had to be...
I think it was. It must have been the other part of herself.
I actually haven't, no.
So it's just like what happened to us.
But I don't think she was excited for nothing. The real Yukiko wants to show us something. I can feel it. It's hard to explain. It seems like she has a strong connection to this castle. This is a lot more dangerous than I thought.
Yukiko!
Hey!
Huh.
Not again. Damn it, we told her not to run off on her own.
Also, as you can see, even though the shadow appears completely normal while on the Midnight Channel, they show their true colors when you're actually in the TV. Luckily, Chie didn't actually run off, so she's right here with us. And periodically in dungeons, this will happen. We'll hear either voices from other people, like we saw in Saki's dungeon, or the shadow itself will talk to us. Yeah, that actually sounds about right. Oh, huh, that's actually kind of cute. Yeah, the shadow can actually project its voice from anywhere in the dungeon. So, that is in fact going to be used. Also, I don't know what Teddy's laughing about there. Oh, that'd be it. Oh, Teddy. I love you, but sometimes I want to slap you. We actually have a new shadow this time.
I smell one enemy. Can't do it.
Now, way, it didn't work.
Blocks win.
That was cool, Yosuke!
Luckily, we have nobody who's weak to ice just yet. Blocks lightning. Unfortunately, Chie does not have her elemental skill yet, so.
Whoa, Chie-chan!
Alright guys, pile on! Ready?
And then you can see that the all-out attack thing has changed because we have another character now. It probably is, but I wanted to test. Like I said, if you test it once, it will be an analysis forever afterwards. Yeah, now that you can see that we're off the tutorial floor, we actually have a wider range of shadows to deal with.
I smell one enemy!
Throw it out!
Do it!
Persona! Someone else's turn.
We won!
Keep those hands in mind. That one doesn't actually matter right now, but that model is actually used for the metal slimes of the series, or is it the money golems? Yeah, I do agree with that. Unfortunately, that is not in this game. It didn't matter which navigator you have, they will actually not be able to just straight up tell you the weaknesses. You have to discover them on your own.
I smell one enemy!
Counting on
You
you.
can do it!
Persona! Someone else's turn.
Just one enemy left!
I'm not gonna do this one. I generally don't do it if there's a lot of cancel cards. And Chie gets her first elemental skill. Chie is Ice Elemental.
I smell 3 enemies! Don't get careless!
Yep, it just completely up and vanishes. You don't get it.
Throw down! Persona! No way, it didn't work.
You're weak to your block wind. The elemental weaknesses are not always the elemental weaknesses are not always obvious, but they generally do go in little pairs most of the time.
Go, Sensei! You knocked it down! You hit its weakness!
Now's our...
Yep.
Ready or not, here we
The cut-in does not always happen when you get a weakness, but it does. I believe it happens when you're first discovering a weakness.
I gotta step up too.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the reason I skipped the dialogue when I knocked down everything is because everyone only has one line of dialogue for that. Once you've heard the one line of dialogue, then they will not say anything new, so you can just mash X to trigger it if you want to trigger it.
It's our turn first! There's 3 enemies! Go, Sensei! You knocked it down!
Nice.
Go, Sensei! You knocked it down!
Keep it up!
Also, as you can hear in the background, your party will actually comment on if you hit weaknesses.
Go, Sensei! You knocked it...
Good answer.
Because all attacks do so much damage, they're actually the best way to deal with shadow parties. There's a stairs. Also, unfortunately, this game does not have the, that's not what I meant. Does not have the, does not have a, heal party option like some of the other games do, so you have to manually go into the skills to heal people. I walked right into that. Uh-oh.
One enemy. Whoops! It caught you off guard.
Yosuke just crit it. Yeah, with the shuffle times, it's just a matter of balance out what it is you think, whether or not it has anything you actually need on it or not. Because if there's nothing you need on it, there's not any point to doing the shuffle time. And if it's got a lot of cancels, there can be a lot of harm. Are you thinking of that? Is that why it makes you nervous? To give a little explanation to Pi, and I believe it was 3 and I think 5, shaking chests usually had the Reaper in them. And the Reaper is a nasty, nasty little trap. In Persona 3, the Reaper would spawn and start chasing you if you spent too much time on a floor. It was high level with high leveled skills, and was, I believe, completely immune to elemental spells. What I do know is that if you put on any kind of shield, whether from a skill cast or from an accessory, he would lash out with a high damage all hit almighty skill, which would wipe your party in about 2 to 3 turns. And he would not stop until the
There are 3 enemies. Careful.
until the resistance went away.
Persona!
Go, Sensei! You
Nice
knocked
moves,
it down.
partner!
Go, Sensei!
That's
you
how
knocked
it's
it
done.
down. Good work.
Also, as you
Sensei.
can see
That's
here,
one so
if you
far.
down shadows and then kill one in without an effective hit, it will not trigger the all-out attack.
Woohoo! Chie-chan! That's one.
So if you're gonna do an all-out attack, kill first, then hit the
That's
weaknesses
my
if you
true
can.
strength.
So as you can see, since this is the first dungeon still, we're getting a lot of restoration items, which is pretty good. You don't really need them as much on beginner, but doesn't make them any less good.
I smell 2 enemies. Beat them
That's
up.
some thick skin.
What was it?
Electricity won't work on this one.
Ah, yeah, most likely weak to fire.
Two enemies left. Woohoo! Chie-chan! That's one.
And we got reinforcements coming
More
in.
reinforcement. Hang in there.
Also, as you can probably tell, Izanagi's stats aren't quite as good as the others. As I said before, Izanagi is meant to be replaced as soon as you can.
We won.
Especially because if you notice when I leveled him up last, he learned his last level skill. And he doesn't have any more to learn. That's what I meant when I said the ones that Soji gets have very limited movesets. Fusion is a necessity in this game, and I mean it is a necessity. You cannot skip out on it. That's an empty room. Yeah, I miss the skill cards and the stat cards so much. I believe I said it last time, but in Persona 3 Portable, I actually made the starting Persona stronger than most of the fusion Personas, just via skill cards and stat cards. I maxed it out completely. And I really wish I could do that, because I like keeping the initial Persona.
Cool, you leveled up.
It's just kind of... I just feel weird discarding the initial Persona since it's their unique Persona, but it's just so pitiful because the way the game works, it's not worth keeping. Speaking of which, let's try out some of the other Personas since Izanagi is fully leveled now. Here's the stairs. The other thing about Soji having multiple personas is his persona is never going to be, like, the same level as he is. He's always going to pull ahead at some point.
There's one enemy. Smash it!
Someone else's turn.
Amazing, Sensei. Keep it up.
Yikes. It's tough.
You actually hit X, and it will show you what that persona has to use. So let's test out this fire theory.
Just one enemy left.
And you only change persona one time in battle. So that's something to keep in mind. Well, not one time per battle, one time per turn. You can actually change it multiple times per battle. You can only change it once per turn, so make sure you pick the right one the first time.
Alright, I leveled up.
Also, Dikaja, which is what Yosuke's next skill is and what he's going to learn next turn, wipes the Kaja buffs from an enemy party. There's a Dekunda, which wipes the Kunda debuffs from your party as well, but I don't think Yosuke learns that. I don't remember. This is new.
There's one enemy. Smash it.
Counting on you. Persona!
Way to go, Yosuke.
Persona! Someone finish it off!
One enemy. Fight, fight, fight.
Ouch! So that's Reflect. Reflect means it will actually send the,
We were nearly done.
it will actually send the attack back at you. As you saw with, Soji there.
Someone else's turn.
So his health is actually getting a little low. That did not heal anywhere near as much as I wanted to heal. If I remember correctly, there's a weak to fire. I did not remember correctly.
Enemy reinforcements.
Okay, that king needs to die.
Counting on you. Persona! That's some thick skin.
It's the only healing item
That's one.
only healing item we have, and it's already outclassed. Let's try wind. Wind is
Amazing, Sensei. Keep it up.
something it's indifferent to.
Counting on you. Persona!
Can I try dice?
You can win this. Do your best.
No. Let's give it a shot. Well, it killed it, so...
John, that's one.
Oh yeah, if you hit somebody when they're down, you will actually make them dizzy, which makes them skip their next turn.
Damn, it's not
One
going
enemy.
down.
Fight, fight, fight.
That works on your party as well. The way this game goes is that anything that works on your party works on the enemy party and vice versa. So buffs are as equally effective, debuffs are as equally effective, status effects are as equally effective. It's the one reason I actually really like Shin Megami Tensei, and the one reason it's my favorite RPG series, is half the skills in the game are not worthless in this game. Because in every other RPG I can think of, whether it's something like Final Fantasy or whatever, skills like that are just completely worthless. Because it will never work, like debuffs, poisons, etc. It will never work as good on the enemy as it works on yours. So there's no point to actually put any effort into those.
Good work, Sensei. That's one.
That said, there is a catch to this working this way.
Move, Sensei.
Because it's equally effective,
You hit its
that
weakness.
means you are actually pretty much required to use it. If you don't use buffs in Shin Megami Tensei, you will be hurting a lot. Thankfully, again, because beginner difficulty, I don't need to do it quite that much. But it is still something to keep in mind. Since these heal so little, let's just consume them outside then. Dead end. So we can go back to the stairs now. Being the first dungeon, Yukiko's castle is not too long. That should have hit. Yeah, Chie's persona is a
One enemy. You can do it.
buff yourself
Not
to the
strong, but
heavens
electricity's no.
sort of persona.
Throw down!
Or sort of playstyle.
Someone else's turn.
Just one enemy left.
Yep. Basically, the difference between the persona and the mainstream is the mainstream buffs stack, but don't expire, while these buffs do not stack. You get the full buff for one cast, but they expire. That actually makes it easier because it's easier to have your strong skill, or to have your skills strong from the very start.
Yikes! Reinforcements.
Especially because, as I said,
That's some thick skin.
Dikaja will wipe those,
Good work, Sensei. That's one so far.
so it's easier to just have to recast it once on a Dikaja.
Counting on you. Persona!
Hello, Oreo!
So who's next in line for a stomping?
Woo! I got my favorite cookie! I need to go this way. Also, as you can see, shadows respawn as you walk through the dungeon, so if you want to, like, farm on a dungeon floor, you can just walk in circles. Especially because, unlike in 3, this game does not penalize you if you stay on a dungeon floor for a while. Also, the atmosphere of the dungeons do change at times. You might notice this place is a lot more red and harder to see in now. Yeah, I agree. Also, notice Yukiko is not specifying. She does indeed consider Chie a prince as well. Which kind of implies that attraction to Chie here.
Two enemies. You can attack before them. Good work,
Nice
Sensei.
crit,
That's
Soji.
one so far.
Don't think, feel.
Also, yeah, the rush cancels itself at the end of the battle, so you don't immediately go into the next battle rushing, just in case. There's the door. No, the door. Soji, the door. Alright, so that's down another hallway, so... Oh, right! Teleports. Forgot about that. This is thankfully not a teleporter maze, but, Shadow Yukiko is going to be bouncing us around. As you can tell. So you actually need to turn and go backwards when that happens. Because like I showed, it just goes on a complete cycle. But the triggers are always in front of the doors, so you can turn around and go back. And get to the doors. Also, oof.
One enemy ambushed you. Hang in there. Two more enemies. You gotta hang tight. Yosuke pounded an enemy.
Yeah, I honestly agree.
Someone finish it off!
Hang in there.
I generally feel like Chie and
That
Yukiko
took forever.
have the most chemistry between each other.
Sensei?
Another level for me.
So I don't really feel right dating either, and honestly, I just don't like either girl enough to want to date them. There's nothing wrong with them, I just don't find them attractive in that way. Also, welcome to the gold treasure chests. They have really good stuff in them. And I mean really good stuff in them. Look at that. So we are going to walk into this teleport here. Which will put us where we need to go to turn around and get into that door. Luckily on revisits to dungeons, this sort of mechanics by the Shadow do not come back into play. They just become normal dungeons. This is a problem.
I smell 5 enemies. You can win it.
This is a problem.
Counting on you. Persona.
5 enemies. Take them out one by one.
Unfortunately, we don't really have a way to deal with this well.
Persona.
You don't actually get all hit skills for quite a while, which is very unfortunate, especially when it does that. At least most of them decided they hated Yosuke.
Counting on you. Persona.
4 enemies. You gotta hang in there.
Crit would be really nice right about now. They're using Aggie, maybe. Yes!
It's down.
Great move,
Good
Shin.
move, Chie-chan. It's down.
Great move,
Good
Shin.
move, Chie-chan.
Atta girl.
Chie-chan. That's one.
Take this!
It's down.
There we go.
This is it!
Maybe they have a couple lines for the all-out attack. I don't fully recall. Yeah, that made me nervous for a second. I was like, oh god, what do I do? What? What? What are you doing? Okay. My cat brought in a plastic container thing like you'd put headphone cords in, and she's just leisurely chewing it on it behind my chair. I just heard this weird scraping noise and went to look, and just there she is. Alright. So we need the key to be able to get in there, and the key is in one of these other doors. So second verse, same as the first. Get teleported. Backtrack to hit the door until we find where the key is. This is new.
There's one enemy. Smash it.
I'm ready to run nervously low on SP.
Go, Sensei. You.
Now's our all right. Ready or not, here we come.
I do really like the shadow designs in this game, which is why I'm kind of on the fence about 5, with the way 5 changes it. I miss a lot of these like really weird, surreal sort of designs. And here we have something else. Well, there's a shadow along with something less nice. I will say it's actually very creative and very well done. The way they did 5s, and I do appreciate for that, but I also miss this as well, I guess is the way to put it. It's one of those things where I don't want it to change, but I also miss the way it used to be, so it's just kind of on the fence. So this is a mini-boss. He's not nice.
He ambushed you. Hang in there.
Counting on you. Persona.
He's not the least bit nice.
Persona.
One enemy. Fight, fight, fight. Yeah.
Someone finish it off!
Also, you can see he has a lot of health.
Counting on you. Persona.
Yosuke is pretty much relegated to healing duty right now. Let's buff Chie's attack and have her start going nuts on this.
Counting on you. Persona.
Thank you!
Persona!
You wanna stop that?
Counting on you. Persona.
This is not good.
Counting on you. Persona.
So the game is doing a lot of lagging again. I have an idea. I really do not like the fact he is focusing on Soji here.
That's some thick skin.
That wasn't enough. Shoot. As you can see, the soul drops are actually really, really pitiful in how much SP they restore. So you do want to just go ahead and try to use them when you can.
Counting on you. Persona!
I probably should have used them all to rebuff my, to buff my, SP before we came in here, but I didn't think of that.
Oh, Chie-chan,
That was very beautiful, Chie.
Counting on you. Persona!
Couldn't quite beat it.
Counting on you. Persona! Thanks.
This, stuff like this will become a lot easier when we actually, have a healer to work with.
Amazing, Sensei! Keep it up!
Persona!
Also, if you haven't guessed, this dude resists physical, which is why, the spell's working a bit better.
Counting on you. Persona!
Yeah! Luckily, we've basically got it at this point. We just have to, make sure he doesn't kill Soji. I guess he would stop dodging!
That was cool, Yosuke!
I say, and then Yosuke immediately dodges as well.
Persona!
Thank you! Someone finish it off!
I will say one point in Earthbound's favor is that, at least you don't lose when Ness goes down.
Take this! Couldn't quite beat it.
Counting on you. Persona!
Someone finish it off!
Counting on you. Persona!
And it's gone.
One!
Yep. That's actually a neat thing the game does that way. Is it will auto-target the one with the least amount of HP, which is really good if you're just wanting to heal people who are in danger of dying. And we get the key because the boss is now gone. This is a thing that will happen, I believe, I believe it's every dungeon that there is a mid-boss that has an item you need. Yeah, that's my plan. We got through it, we're alright. I believe since Shadow Yukiko is gone now, she will no longer bounce us around. So we can check out this other room here. Yep.
There's one enemy! Smash it! Hang in there!
Also, ones that do standby tend to be the scariest ones because they can do some pretty nasty things. if they get to do what they want to do. And Chie has another physical skill now. What do we got? What do we got? We have chest keys! Those are nice because I believe the golden chests in every dungeon but this one are actually locked. So we kinda need those. We use the glass key in this. Yep, this is the stairs upward. So where are we at? I think I can handle this floor. Yeah! The hard teleport puzzle comes in, comes from, one of the later dungeons. Also, here we can see what Yukiko's, true thoughts were. Oh no, it doesn't! I'm just saying that, we do have another teleport puzzle and it's not quite that easy. You know what? Let's just go ahead and head back. I'm not actually sure how many floors remain, so it would probably be better to retreat since we don't have a lot of things to work with right now. And we can return to the entrance. So since we used a Goho M, we can start on that floor next time. So you want to keep a good stock of those. First and foremost, though, we've got some fusing to do. I have no idea what you're talking about. So we are level 11, which means we can actually fuse this thing. What can inherit bash and cleave, which I don't want to inherit. So like I said, to get to inherit what you want, you have to constantly back in and back out. This is why I said if there's a specific persona we wanted to see, I was just gonna pull it out of the compendium. I'm hoping to get Rakunda and Tarukaja on it. Because it actually does not inherit like one per persona, it just inherits from the pool. So you can inherit all your skills from a single persona. Case in point right there. I'm having to reshuffle because you won't let me pick the skills, Igor. That's what I'm doing. Maybe I actually will pull stuff out of the compendium at some point. I forgot how tedious this is. And you do have to back all the way out. If you go back in, you'll just get the same one. The same one's picked. Also, you can see what I mean about certain skills having a higher chance of being inherited. You know what? I don't care. Close enough. Oh yeah, Igor will actually mention that you can start a social link if you're you are past the date where it can actually start. So his mentioning of the sun is because we can actually initiate the sun. Either this upcoming day or in a couple of days. It just means you're very close to being able to initiate it. I shouldn't have skipped that. Whoops, sorry. He got a strength and a magic under the fusion forecast, which ain't bad. So we can try a triangle spread. Also, yeah, this is the problem with triangle spreads. Even very low level ones can make some very high level stuff. You actually make Oberon, though. Not right now, but if I save Angel, Okobachi, and Asparus, I can make Oberon. So let's use Pixie and Sandman. Oh, that just makes Angel. Not much else we can do right now. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back. Yeah, the exploring the TV world uses up your afternoon slot, but you fully heal when you leave. Actually, it also uses up your it uses up both your afternoon and your evening slots because you're too tired to do anything in the evening if you've gone to the TV world.
Welcome home.
Luckily, there's not too much you have to actually do in the TV world. Each dungeon only needs to be cleared once, and you can clear it a second time for an additional boss. And after that, it would just be straight up grinding. I actually have not been checking the fridge. Let's go check the fridge. I forgot about that as well. You need to check the fridge because there are certain times where food will be in there. There's times where you can make your own lunch, which you can share with people, but the lunches are very... I don't like the food making mechanic because it's very unintuitive in every Persona game I've seen, which might only be 4 and 5, but basically it gives you ingredients, it tells you what you're going to make, and then it gives you options to do it, and unless you've actually made that very specific recipe, you don't have any idea what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I hate the condition mechanic. I hate it so much. Actually, before we do this, I'm going to go ahead and drop the stream very briefly. I'm going to see if I can fix the lag. So just go ahead and stay on the page, stay on Twitch. I'll be back in a few minutes. It won't take too long.